Have you ever been trying to explain a really complex idea and you suddenly notice your hands have a life of their own? Well, today, we're diving into exactly that, the fascinating, kinetic language of deep thought. We're going to explore how our hand gestures can be a direct window into the incredible workings of our minds.
So think about it for a second. Your own hands, are they telling a story that you aren't even aware of? We usually just brush these movements off, but what if they aren't random at all? What if they're actually a code?
Let's just get one thing straight right from the start. This is the big idea. Those complex, kind of fluid hand movements you make when you're thinking hard, that is not nervous fidgeting. No, it's the language of your mind at work, a physical broadcast of deep cognitive processing.
So, what is actually happening in the brain to make this happen? Let's take a look at the mental wiring behind these movements and get to know this idea of the deep processor. Well, what it comes down to is something called complex cognitive processing. And this leads to a really cool state called hyperconnectivity. Just think of it like this. The brain of a deep processor isn't just thinking on a single straight track. Oh no, it's physically trying to map out thoughts in layers, building this complex mental model in real time, and it's connecting ideas that might seem totally random to other people. Your hands, they're basically drawing that map out in the air for everyone to see. And this really shows a key difference in thinking styles. See, deep processors tend to favor slow thinking. It's a more deliberate, strategic, and refined way of doing things. This is the total opposite of a quick, impulsive, fast reaction. They're taking their time, building a really solid foundation for their thoughts, and as we're about to see, their gestures totally reflect that pace. Okay, so how does this deep processing actually, show up? Let's decode the 6 specific signs that reveal a deep processor is hard at work. And by the end of this, you're going to be able to spot them everywhere.
First up, sign number 1. This is a classic gesture you've probably seen a million times, steepling the fingers. Where someone brings the fingertips of both hands together, making a kind of steeple. But what does it really mean?
You might think this just screams confidence, but what's really happening here is way deeper than that. It's actually a sign of metacognition, and that's just a fancy word for thinking about your own thoughts. The person is actively organizing their ideas, assessing their own internal logic. They are literally holding their thoughts right there in their hands.
Okay, on to sign number 2, the slow, rhythmic gesture. Now, this isn't some frantic, jerky movement. No, think more like a conductor guiding an orchestra. The motion is controlled, it's fluid, and it has this really distinct, deliberate beat to it.
And this, of course, connects right back to that slow thinking idea. The pace of the hands perfectly mirrors the pace of the mind. This gesture shows that the person is carefully weighing their words, they're refining their ideas as they speak, and they're choosing strategy over pure impulse.
Sign 3 is another one of those iconic thinking poses, right? Touching the chin or the temple. It's so common we almost don't even see it, but the mental process it signals is, well, it's incredibly sophisticated.
So what's actually happening here is something called counterfactual thinking. The brain is running these complex simulations. It's asking, what if? It's testing out different realities, playing out all these scenarios and predicting the consequences of each one before it commits to an answer. It's a mental chess game, and this gesture, that's the Tao.
All right, sign number 4 is all about how a person uses the space around them. You'll see this when someone gestures with their hands wide apart, almost like they're holding 2 separate, really large things.
What you're looking at is a perfect visual of a process called associative integration. The brain is actively trying to build a bridge between 2 ideas that, on the surface, seem to have nothing to do with each other. The hands are physically representing these 2 separate concepts, and that space in between them, that's the conceptual gap the person is trying to close, right there in front of you.
Sign 5 is a little more subtle, but believe me, it is just as powerful. It's the palm down pause. This is when someone puts their hand out, palm facing down, almost like they're saying, hold on a sec, or let's slow this down.
This gesture is pretty much a physical stop sign for impulsivity. It signals a really high level of what's called cognitive restraint. That's the executive function that lets someone hold back a gut reaction, quiet an initial thought, and let a more logical, reasoned response come through. It's a sign of some serious mental discipline.
And now, for our final sign. This one's fascinating because it's about the complete absence of movement, still hands, while someone is listening really intently.
Now, it is so easy to mistake this stillness for boredom or, being checked out, but it is the absolute opposite.
A deep processor goes still because they are dedicating 100% of their cognitive energy, their bandwidth, to absorbing and processing what you're saying. They aren't wasting any of that energy on performing or planning their comeback. They are just listening.
Okay, so we've decoded the 6 signs. We've seen how the mind of a deep processor is, quite literally, in motion. So let's pull all this together and talk about what it actually means for you. I want to leave you with this really powerful line from the source material. It says, if your hands move like your mind, deeply and with purpose, you are operating on a frequency most people miss. So if you recognize yourself or maybe someone you know in these signs, understand that it's not a quirk. It's evidence of a really unique and powerful way of thinking.
So, you now have the tools. You can decode this silent kinetic language. The next time you're in a meeting or a classroom or just chatting with a friend, pay attention, watch the hands, because now that you know the language, what will your hands or theirs reveal next?